Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to recreate this super cool effect done by Onandon. If you don't know Onandon, I would absolutely suggest you check out their stuff. They're pretty great. So yeah, let's jump into Houdini. I'm working on version 20.5, but you shouldn't really worry about that because it works with any version. So let's drop in a geonode and let's drop in a planar patch. You could start with a grid, but you're gonna have to remesh because we're working with triangles, so this is just one step faster. So let's scale it up and let's give it some more topology because we are going to need a pretty dense topology. So now we need something to animate the mask with. As you can see, we need to have something that's gonna draw this for us. So let's add a sphere to do that for us. Let's scale it down. This should work. And let's start animating it by bringing in a transform node. And just for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just gonna do a really random animation. So in our very first few frames, we do not actually need the mask to be on our main geometry. So I'm going to add an animation on 0 with the sphere being far away from the object, and on frame 24 we're gonna have our first intersection. And now I'm just randomly, as I said, animate this thing. Also, I apologize about the loud noise in the background. It's summertime in Greece and my computer is not happy about it. So yeah, I apologize in advance. I hope it's not too loud. And let's finish off with a straight line to the right. Okay, let's see it then. Yeah, I think that can look cool actually. So now we need an attribute to transfer its value from the sphere to the planar patch to create the mask. So let's drop in a wrangle attribute wrangle, and we want so we're gonna type in float at mask because it is a float since its value is just 0 to 1, and that's it, a single value. So float at mask equals to 0. Let's copy and paste that and say float at mask equals to 1. Now we need something to make the transition for us. So we are gonna jump in a solver node, connect these two, jump inside, and let's bring in an attribute transfer node and connect our little guy over here. All right, so we need to transfer the mask attribute, and we're working with points. So let's change this to points. Let's drop in a attribute visualize. Let's see it a bit better. All right, so we're gonna visualize our mask attribute, and we want to visualize it and range it from 0 to 1. Now you can't really see anything, and it's not just because it's in the very first frames, because as you can see, it's not working right now. So why do you think that is? It's basically because our distance threshold is extremely high. We need something like 0.01. Now that should do the trick. Now we're getting something. Obviously not what we want, but it's a nice start. So let's give it more samples and let's add a tiny bit of blend width. Let's see it now. Yeah, I think this is something that we can work with. Maybe we could even increase our distance threshold a bit more. And to wrap it up, we could blur our attribute. So let's blur our mask attribute by 2. Let's see it. All right. Yeah, this is definitely something that Oh wait, I changed the iteration so it's working this way. I think it's a cool effect, but yeah, let's stick to the base of it. Yeah, I think this is good. All right. So now we need to configure this geo into a Vellum cloth. So let's drop in a Vellum configure cloth and a Vellum solver. Let's connect these. And now is the important part. Now we're gonna jump into the Vellum solver and we need a Vellum constraints properties node. Let's wire it in and we're working with a stretch group. I did not create the stretch group. It came right out of our Vellum cloth node. So let's tweak in some values here as well. These are just for my personal liking. I think they work well. Let's maybe increase the substeps by 2. And yeah, let's jump in our Vellum solver. And I'm gonna also work with compression stiffness, but this is just optional. Actually, let's just avoid it for now. Let's just work with the essentials. Rest length scale. If I float my cursor over the rest length scale, you can see that the parameter is actually named rest scale. So that's what we're gonna use in our 2 lines of X. So rest scale equals to 1, but if, and now we need to point it to somewhere, if point 2, because we're working with the second input, so if point 2 mask and pt num bigger than 0.5, then let's close this. Yeah, then rest scale equals to 0.6. Yeah, this might be too much, but let's see. Also, for the sake of the look of the code, you could just drop this right under, but I used to get confused and just add this thing in the end, and I was wondering why it wouldn't work. So yeah, let's remove that. And oh, also in our third input, we should actually add our subsolver. So let's add that in and let's see what we have. I'm going to cast the result and come right back to show you guys how it looks. Okay, so the sim has been cached, but it's wrong. And that's because we forgot to add some pinpoints. Because as you can see, the top and bottom points are clearly pinned. So in my cache, it just falls down and it makes perfect sense. So let's pin some points. Let's go in the front view, select our points. Hit enter and I'm going to cache this again. Okay, so we're back. The sim is looking nice. So I think this is done. You could stop watching right now, but I'm going to show you a few tweaks you could do. The simplest one is the Vellum post process node to subdivide it. It usually works pretty well. Yeah, maybe we could add some spatial blur. This is about right. So if you're wondering texture-wise how you can apply the mask as a texture, thing is, the only way I found to be possible to do that is with a point deform node. So I don't think it's the best way to approach this. So someone in the comments, I would appreciate if you could show me the right way to do this. So point deform, and now it does have the attribute going and running, and you could use this for texturing purposes. So yeah, guys, this is pretty much it. If you enjoyed the tutorial and found it useful, I would be happy if you could comment, like, subscribe, and support the channel. So yeah, wish you guys a nice wrap up of the summer, and I'll be back with more tutorials. Thank you. Have a good day.